Hey guys, this is Luke from the Ski Monster, and today we're coming at you with a video on how to adjust your shift bindings. So I want to stress the importance of taking your gear to a shop so a certified shop technician can adjust your gear properly. So let's dive right into the bindings. So the adjustment on these shift bindings is going to be exactly the same for the three brands, Atomic, Salomon, and Armada. The only difference is going to be some color changes and logo changes. The adjustment's exactly the same. All right, so let's start at the heel piece of this binding with the forward pressure adjustment. So before we adjust anything, let's take a closer look at the forward pressure indicator. So you can see there's a couple different markings on there. First and foremost, on the forward pressure indicator itself, there's a little raised section on the metal piece. That's what's going to move forward and backward. On the binding housing itself, there's a little notch surrounded by two arrows. That raised part on the metal piece is going to want to be flush in between those two arrows. That's going to indicate the correct forward pressure. So to adjust that forward pressure, you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. Insert it into the screw and give it a couple twists so that marking is flush between that housing. It's looking good. We'll come back to it later after we do our AFD adjustment as well. Moving on to the toe piece of this binding, we're going to adjust the AFD plate now. So to do that, you're going to need two things. You can AFD test card and a Phillips head screwdriver. The AFD test card needs to be about the thickness of a standard business card or 0.5 millimeters. So the first step I like to do is to give the boot a good tug. That raises that boot and that toe piece of the binding, exposing a little bit of gap between that toe piece and your boot. What you want to do is grab your AFD test card and run it in between the boot and that AFD plate. As you can see, there's a little bit too much motion right now, and that card can move around a little too freely. From there, what you're going to want to do is leave that AFD test card in there, and then raise up that AFD plate with a screw on the left side of that binding. Once you get to that proper friction where you can pull that AFD card and there's a little bit of friction, but you can't bend or rip that card, that's how you know your AFD is now adjusted properly. So now that we're done with the AFD adjustment, we're going to come back to this forward pressure indicator just to double check it. What you're going to do is pop your boot out of there, pop it back in, make sure it's still flush with those arrows. If it is, your forward pressure is good to go. All right, now we're going to adjust the DIN settings on these bindings. Once again, I want to stress the importance of taking your gear to a shop so a certified shop technician can adjust your bindings properly. There's a lot of factors that go into your DIN settings. All right, so sticking with the toe piece, let's adjust the DIN setting. So your DIN indicator window is going to be right here in the front of that toe piece. What you're going to do is take your Phillips head screwdriver, insert it right into the front, and give it a couple twists. Remember, a little goes a long way when it comes to the DIN settings. Coming back to the heel piece of this binding, let's adjust the DIN setting there. So the DIN screw is going to be on top of the heel housing with the DIN window just below the brake lever. So to do that, take your Phillips head screwdriver, give it a couple twists, match it up with the toe piece, and you're good to go. And that's how you adjust your shift bindings. Want to reiterate, always take your gear to a shop so a certified shop technician can take a look at your bindings and adjust them properly. If you have any further questions, feel free to hit us up on live chat, email, phones. Make an appointment to come see us in the Boston store.